Welcome everybody to become a successful NLP coach. This is a promotional event and an educational event. I will do my very best to give you as much as possible about neuro-linguistic programming, both, and coaching. And I will also engage with you individually. So kindly please turn your video on or keep your video on. If you would like to receive handouts and the presentation in your WhatsApp, please give me your name, telephone number, and WhatsApp number. I have Swapna, I have Candice, I have Meda, and I have, that's all. That's all who I have. Otherwise, please, yes, make yourself known in the WhatsApp. So I am Dr. Doris, and I'm doing what I do since 35 years. I'm the only master trainer, which is the highest certification you can receive in neuro-linguistic programming, from the Society of NLP, where NLP was created in the end of the 70s in Santa Cruz, California. And I was right away part, knowing most of the originators of NLP and being connected there since 87. I have my own institute, Conscious Solutions, and in the Gulf, in Dubai, I work exclusively with Illuminations. I think we should give a big hand to Illuminations because they are just the most superb rocking wellness center in the total of the world, I believe. And Sonia, the president, is my dear friend, and everyone there I just dearly love. And I think you guys are rocking. Big hand for Illuminations. Most of you have been there, even with the masks and all of the safety procurements. And it is such a worthwhile place to come by, take meditations, and get consultations. Also, please let me know if you want a one-on-one consultation with me. You can write it into the chat at any time. And I will help you more personally. I will do an overall presentation on NLP coaching, on what it is to become a, I'll first tell you a little bit about neuro-linguistic programming and then about this particular coaching. Can I see hands? Who has a little bit of an idea, knows what NLP is? Or better, who has no idea at all what NLP is? Okay. I'd explain all the way from the beginning. You could say neuro-linguistic programming is a new age psychology. It literally reached, if psychology did what they did and could do what they could do since the 80s. Neuro-linguistic programming has basically taken it much further. And I would like to tell you a little story how I got to be connected with NLP, to maybe also help you understand a little bit about the difference of psychology and NLP. I was trained in psychology and in emotional release therapies for 12 years. As a naturopathic doctor, I found out very quickly that I was interested why someone can heal fast, why someone has success, why someone has not success. So in these 12 years, I did a lot of emotional release and beating pillows and crying therapies and laughter therapies. And really, it was altogether, you could say, a lot of work. And one of my counseling trainings, it was 3 times 3 months, it was 3 times 3 month full day. And we would already give sessions. And I tell you a little bit of a story of one internship in this counseling training that changed my life. So this was in 1987, Seattle, USA. And the counseling training was 26 people, and we had 7 senior psychologists, and I was young in my 20s, very eager. And I remember my client, Karen. She had what is called depression, and she would, so we basically, the cases were presented on stage, and then everybody was sitting in the audience. Everybody knew that what we are describing is confidential, and all the clients were there to learn more. So Karen would come up on stage, hanging her shoulders down and looking quite sad. I mean, everything was hanging down. And I openly declare, so this was the client, this was the senior trainer, and in the middle would be the to become counselor. So I was there and I openly declared to everybody, I'm not satisfied with the results that I could create in those 7 sessions. I gave Karen 7 times 1 hour coaching sessions and counseling sessions, and I'm not satisfied with the result. And there was one of my trainers, her name was Tanya. She fascinated me. She was just open, radiant, and very positive, and you could say charismatic. And I was so lucky that Tanya took up my situation, and I learned so much. Listen to this. She did not ask Karen why she has depression, since when she has depression, whether her mother has depression, whether her family members have depression. She didn't ask anything like that. One moment, sorry. But she said the following. She said, what did you think was your difficulty? Karen started to rustle a little bit. And then Tanya said, maybe what you thought was your emotional difficulty is actually just a signal for you to do something differently. And Karen would raise her shoulder, have her chest different, look up a little more, and have a deep breath, and then look at my face. She wouldn't smile, but she would like raise her mouth corners just a little bit. And that was her non-verbal response. And she had only one verbal response. I remember it as if it was today. She said, oh, that. And then she moved down from stage, moving a little more rapid, moving a little bit more upbeat. Her shoulder, I mean, it looked like 2 different people. After only 2 questions. And I was, like you, writing and learning and learning. I was so eager to learn. And I was just saying, can you say this again, Tanya? Would you say this again? And Tanya said, maybe what you thought was your emotional difficulty is actually just a signal for you to do something differently. So I'm writing and I'm extremely excited, just thinking to myself, how can in 2 minutes with 2 questions there be a more powerful response than me 7 times 1 hour? So one other counselor came, another counselor came, and then that part of the internship, we were in that hall the whole day. Then that part of that internship was gone, and all the clients left saying thank you. They learned so much. And then all of us counselors, 26 of us, would sit at the stage and get to ask questions. And the trainers were there to help us to improve our performance as counselors with our clients. So giving sessions was part of the counseling training, and we were supposed to give so many more with supervision. And I could not wait to ask, Tanya, what made you say what you said? And can you please tell me, why did you not ask Karen about her depression and where it is from and why she has it? And Tanya said something, and this sentence is with me until today. She said, if you look at people as if they have problems, you may lose your eye of the goal. I prefer to think that people don't have problems and people don't need fixing. People just need to learn how to reorganize their patterns of thinking. People just need to learn how to reorganize their patterns of thinking. And she said it twice. And I'm writing all of this down, and I just got so confused. This is flabbergasting. And I said, okay. And what else did you do or think when you created such a positive response from Karen so quickly? I did not get such a nonverbal response from her in 7 times 1 hour. Tanya said, people always do the best that they can according to the map of their perception and abilities. And if you look at people under that idea, you will reach so much further and so much faster and so much more elegantly. I'm writing all of this down. People always do, and seriously, I tell you, what I said to myself, what people always do the best that they can? I mean, I'm looking at all of the cases. In those days, we would say cases. And I mean, I had a client who was slicing herself with the knife. You know, I had one client who ripped hair. I had one client who was addicted to alcohol. And I go, people always do the best that they can. So I just kind of said it to myself several times, like, trying to download this, but everything went so very fast. And there was one more thing. I mean, she said so many things. I'm just thinking about which of those things I share with you tonight. I think I would like to share the thing that she said about communication and motivation. What I learned from Tanya about communication and motivation is that regardless of what is your intention as a coach, whatever the client can receive or not receive is what matters. So regardless of your intentions, you can measure your result only in the client's verbal and non-verbal behavior. Now, that one made sense to me. I just wasn't taught it yet, and I hadn't thought about it like that. So I can't make the story longer because I want to teach you so many things. What happened was this part of the internship ended after every counselor could ask their questions. And I was still so enthused that I ran after Tanya, and all the trainers were leaving. I remember there was a shuttle bus to bring them to the hotel. And I literally ran after her. She was already going towards the bus, and I tapped on her shoulder and I said, Tanya, Tanya, please, please tell me a little more what you have taught us tonight. And that's when I heard for the first time the word. She said, I'd taken a course in neuro-linguistic programming, but I didn't complete the certification yet, and that's why I didn't talk about it. More next time. And she ran. Well, next time was in 3 months, and that was not good enough for me. I remember I wanted to jump after her into the bus. That's how excited I was, and that's how much I knew. Whatever she knows, I want to know it. If with 2 sentences you can make somebody think so differently, it's something I must learn. And so here I wrote down neuro-linguistic programming on a scrap paper. By luckily I had a scrap paper in my jeans when I ran after her. Neuro-linguistic programming, and I thought, what a complicated word. And I took that word with me, and I want you to understand, this was before Google. And now I needed to find it. So I was running around trying to find it in 1987 in Seattle, Washington, USA. And luckily in a health food shop, I saw Raina, when they write the little notes in the health food shop, like communicating with each other, leaving business cards. And it said Raina Green Lake and Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Next day, I was at her door. And I never forget that sign, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And lo and behold, within a short amount of time, I signed up for my first practitioner training in 1987, and it was 16 days. Wow, it was just changing my life. It was bringing such a different perspective to everything that I was learning from psychology. Needless to say, I did complete my psychology and counseling degree, but I took a very strong curve and change of direction. And from then on, I only took one neuro-linguistic programming training after the other. As I told you, I am so lucky and proud and honored to have met all of the seniors of the neuro-linguistic, nearly all of the seniors of neuro-linguistic programming and the originators. And I have learned from the geniuses in communication excellence. So what is neuro-linguistic programming? Sorry. Become a successful NLP coach. What we are talking about tonight is a possibility for you to think about joining us for 2 days, which is the foundation of neuro-linguistic programming, or 5 days, which is the NLP practitioner. Nowadays, those 16 days are put into 5 days as a crash course. And of course, I would very much recommend for you to learn it from somebody who knows the origination of NLP. These are the 3 logos that you will be certified through. ABNLP is the largest NLP body in the world in Las Vegas. They came after Society of NLP. I'm representing Society of NLP for India and for UAE. All the seniors of NLP are more than 70 years old, and I'm right one senior level below them. And then you can see Conscious Solutions is a certification body of 30 years. So now when you look at, I show you this slide later, please remind me. This sentence, isn't it all about that? Are your thoughts running you, or are you running your thoughts? So you could say neuro-linguistic programming is like a mathematical equation. Neuro would be the thoughts. How do you know that you have a thought? How do you know you are thinking? Yes, Kayal, what were you thinking? Mitali, how do you know you are thinking?
You have a lot of imagination. You have a lot of things running in your mind. So
Yes. So when Mitali tells us imagination, it means she's aware of the visual part that happens in her internal representation. Payal, what were you thinking?
I was going to say the same. It's the awareness. It's a thought cannot be felt, but it can certainly be, you may have an awareness in your mind about it.
And Kayal? Do I say Kayal or Kajal? Kajal Dembre? What is your name, Kayal or Kajal?
It's Kajal.
Kajal. Okay, I mispronounced you. So sorry. What did you think what a thought is?
N number of different ideas coming in your mind.
So the number of ideas that you say to yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I knew Mitali would use a visual word because her eyes were going up. And I knew Kajal would say an auditory word because when I asked the question, her eyes were going sideways, back and forth, which is a signal for auditory information. How else do you know that you have a thought?
It's an emotion that you come across.
So it can end up being an emotion. Thank you, Swapna. Very correct. How else do you know that you have a thought? Payal becomes very thoughtful.
Such random thoughts happening at the moment. I don't know how to put it into words, but it could be like an unplanned action which is originating somewhere.
Because it's originating somewhere, basically, before, I'm going to go back to what you said, Swapna, emotion. Before your brain knows how to, for example, create higher heartbeat or higher heart rate or higher breathing rate or color in your cheeks or more water in your eyes or huffing and puffing, or simply all the symptoms of an adrenal shootout. See, your adrenals are not shooting out by themselves. Your adrenals are shooting out because a message came from your brain to your glands and lymph nodes and centers of where the hormones and chemicals get triggered. Everything is one. You're thinking, you're acting, your whole body, mind, energy, emotion, spiritual system is actually one system. And after I have been meditating for 30 years, I mean, I've been meditating since 83 and I never stopped every day. And studying spiritual teachers for many, many years, I can only tell you, neuro-linguistic programming gives you hands-on for creating change rapidly, powerfully, and tangibly. So, what is a thought? Neuro means the neurological aspect of thinking. And then you could say N plus L is linguistics, because you talk to yourself and you talk to others, and then equals P. P stands for program. Because whatever you think and then say to yourself equals with a, you could say P for pattern, or equals to a program. So all of the negative beliefs, all of the thoughts that you carry in neuro-linguistic program, we say these are like mini programs, because guess what? Who invented the computer? The brain. So as the brain invented the computer, it's the brain where we want to make changes. Now, what do you think about stress, anxiety, fear, frustration, irritation, anger, rage, lows, downs, depression, relationship, and sexual issues? They are all based in our thoughts, isn't it? And they are all run by a program. So NLP is specialized to give you models and techniques and ideas and interventions and patterns that make you successful in overcoming all these phenomena for yourself and for others. So you can really track what stress is and how you can influence stress. You can track what anxiety is and influence anxiety. And you certainly can much more successfully overcome anger and any Down syndromes and any relationship issues by applying and using neuro-linguistic programming. See, I have just, in fact, I'm still a part of an NLP master practitioner course. That's NLP Coaching Level 2 and Level 3. I have 16 participants. And we were talking about what is the consequence of when we have a limiting pattern. And we were talking about that the biggest problem is that we don't know that what we are going through is not normal and is not needed. Stress is not needed. Guilt is an absolutely unnecessary emotion. Now, let's say grief is a necessary emotion. I mean, if we lose someone, or in the whole COVID pandemic, if we don't experience great sadness about not only ourselves losing someone, but close ones of us losing someone, you would be abnormal. In fact, grieving, I support, and people have to cry and have to be able to release the emotion. But I always ask my client, how long do you want to grieve? And whatever they say, that's the time I give them. If they say 2 weeks, fine. If they say 2 months, fine. Even if they come after 2 years. Whenever you're ready, you can let go of grief in a way that it's sealed, that it's done, that you do an emotional completion and you can walk on. Walk forward. So if you look at these little dilemmas that I was just sharing, which of those do you know?
Anxiety,
Anxiety.
fear. Yeah.
Swapna, so anxiety about?
See, honestly, in my case, it's all, there are so many things that I really want to do. And that's when, I know that I can do something, but till the time it's not done, I have the thing going in my mind. Okay, I need to finish it. I need to do it ASAP. So, that actually makes me really anxious about things that, I need to finish it on
Yeah.
time. I need to do it fast. I need to do it right. So there are a lot of things that I feel, it's more about the future events that's I'm thinking about, and I want them to happen. So I
Yes,
get really
yes, yes.
anxious about it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So who knows stress and anxiety in this way? So basically what Swapna is sharing, thank you so much, Swapna, is that these thoughts are going on and they make the glands shoot out adrenals. And so what is often experienced, I don't know about you, Swapna, let me just generally maybe talk about it, may I?
Yes.
So the vicious circle stress cycle actually makes our amygdala, which is between the neocortex and the reptile brain, be swollen. So that's the chronic stress syndrome, which doesn't really help now to understand it, because in NLP you will use the same methods to reduce anxiety. We have wonderful clearing methods. I teach in level 2 the awareness process and the phobia cure. The phobia cure is what made Richard Bandler and John Grinder in 1978 in Santa Cruz, California, famous. I came a little later, but I heard, and I'm with Christina Hall, who is with them since ever, that there's something like a post-traumatic stress disorder, and many veteran wars would come to this event that Richard Bandler did when they started to give to the rest of the world this amazing phobia cure. It made neuro-linguistic programming famous. What is a phobia? I mean, think about it. So let me take the example of the veteran war. I'm giving you a little example from this training in 87 in California. So the veteran the veteran soldier in the war is, of course, in excruciating emotional state, sometimes being afraid to be shot and die, or many veterans are even more afraid to shoot others, because that gives a tremendous adrenal kick, because it's life and death. And it should be, because that's the primal brain, it's the reptile brain alerting for fight and flight. But now, 30 years later, someone's still hearing the sound of a firework and their whole adrenals go exactly like in the war. They are going to the veteran hospital. They're on antidepressants since 10 years. They think something is wrong with them. Nothing is wrong with them. Richard Bandler would just take 10 minutes. I take 20 because I do a little emotional clearing to simply rewind the stuck movie. There's a movie that is stuck in the brain and you can't leave it there. It's like a record, when a old-fashioned album, who knows the old-fashioned, some of you are too young, but Sushma, you will remember the old-fashioned record album when we heard music, and then there's a needle and zoom, 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 it got stuck. And the same sound would come over and over again. That's how it is. If somebody 30 years back in the Vietnam War had horrible experiences, and of course, I mean, they see heads flying off the body, arms lying on the other side. That's horrifying. But you're not supposed to still think about this 30 years after. Something is stuck, and something is stuck in a tremendous way, in a strong way, and it needs to be addressed accordingly. So if you now speak with the guy about what they had experienced in the war, don't do that. It is actually traumatizing. In neuro-linguistic programming, we say, don't re-traumatize. Don't ask so many questions about all the problems and difficult things that happen. Spend that same time to revamp, to reprogram, to strengthen someone with resources to help them. So in the Phobia Cure, we create a very strong safety anchoring syndrome. We make that experience of safety so strong, and then we flip and black and white and forwards and backwards. We do basically 7 different steps that you have to do internally, and it literally loosens the picture from the physical effect. Because what brings the adrenals? The inner picture. Without that inner picture of the war, the veteran couldn't pull up the adrenals. You understand what I'm saying? Can I see hands? Am I going too fast, or is everybody with me? Mita, did that make sense? So if somebody 30 years later has what is called trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder, called deeper latent fear, any syndrome like that, that kicks the adrenals, can simply be rewound. I tell you, my life so totally changed as a counselor when I finally could do that phobia cure and help people with whether it's test anxiety, whether it's a fear of lying, whether it's fear of light, whether it's whatever it is, you can revamp it in 20 minutes. Now, do you need to learn it and practice? Yes, because you do not want to make a mistake. You will triple disassociate the client and put them in a certain state and help them to rewind it. So in the training, we would practice, practice, practice until you feel comfortable to help someone to rewind their phobia. Let's choose one more. Okay, we talked about Karen. Who knows feeling down, or who knows sometimes depressive modes within self, or who has a good friend or family member who's, suffers from what is called depression? Can I see hands? Who is familiar with depression? Would you like to know a little more about depression? See, in neuro-linguistic programming, we don't believe what is called psychometrics. Bipolar, this. We don't believe in this. We only look at the pattern. See, ADHD just means that the visual makes the person do something. It's a visual kinesthetic overlap. The depression simply means the person is not able to look up to the right. Would everybody please turn their eyes and look way up to the right? Could you please turn your eyes with me to experience something? Look up to the right and see your wonderful, glorious future. And would you please see a wonderful, glorious future you, and you get excited and you say, I want to be like her. So take another half minute, design a future you, and write. For this exercise, it's not important whether it's in 1 month or in 1 year, whatever you want to do. Just would you please visualize a you that is wonderful, that is desired. You could say an evolved you. Nice one. Very good. Very good. And so now you can see it. Now, guess what? You can step in. Who likes what you've seen? Who was able to make it wonderful? Yes, like, overcome moods, maybe be slimmer if you want to be slimmer, be stronger, physically stronger if you want to be physically stronger, see yourself with a peaceful relationship rather than an relationship with agony. See yourself without the family problems because you have initiated to solve them and to overcome them. So that future you can do visually, right? So in NLP, we learn how to internally, visually create pictures that are our desired pictures. But now, guess what? Would you please step into her? And as you step into her, feel it in your body now, experiencing having already successfully accomplished. And you put in your own content. So you please look at that you having, experiencing, having already successfully accomplished. In a way that you enjoy it and get a smile. Nice one, Mital. Very good. I want to see her. Could you do it, Sushma? So now, Sushma, would you please speak like evolved Sushma?
No, I couldn't see much.
Yes, so from time to time, hold on, I'm making a very short webinar. I would never want someone to have a non-successful experience. Sushma, making inner pictures is there for you. Everybody has imagination and everybody has inner pictures, but in your brain, it is a little better to talk to yourself first. Can you talk to yourself into a positive future? Not so fast. You need to give yourself a little time. I'm healthy. Are you in a difficult situation right now?
No.
Okay. So basically, you just need to take a little time and talk to yourself. And then see again a picture, talk to yourself, or you start, drawing on a paper. If you would see a positive Sushma, you'll simply start drawing how she would look like. You can do that, right? Yeah. So you can just, the last time I had someone, it's called overlapping in NLP. So you will simply, okay, if I would draw my body, I'm not a good drawer. I draw like, now as you are drawing, this could be Sushma, right?
Right.
So you basically use the kinesthetic system to overlap so that then the internal picture is possible. So basically, whoever says what they have is down, because see, mostly when you look at people who have what they call depression, they look down with their eyes most of the time. And when you tell them, make a positive future picture of yourself, they go, I can't do it. They can literally not even roll their eyes up to the right. So I just want to get you a little bit ideas. I cannot explain all of this to you now. I just want you to get a little bit of the ideas that in neuro-linguistic programming, we work with the structure. We work with the pattern. See, when you learn the Phobia Cure, whether it is height, whether it is flight, whether it's claustrophobia, whether it is test anxiety, whether it is whatever the fear is about, it's the same picture and physical feeling link. So you use the same pattern. You will use the same change model. We don't have a different one for this and then a different one for that. Yes, Dorota? Is that Dorothea or Dorota?
What? Dorota. Dorota.
Dorota, what a nice name.
Can I ask what about? Thank you. What about anger issues?
Yes. So
How
anger,
do you treat in NLP?
is that for you or for your love? Are you having the anger or someone else who's with you has the
Very
anger?
easily, you know, by people, by situations. Actually, for me,
Can you come a little closer to your microphone? We don't hear everything.
That's gonna be for me, yeah.
Dorota, can you speak into the microphone?
A lot of anger, and personally, I am, you know, I do a lot of, yeah. Actually, okay. I just this.
Is the anger yours or from somebody else?
Can you hear me?
Dorota, just your
hear me now?
audio, your acoustics are a little lacking. Just answer to
Hello?
me. Is it your anger or somebody else's?
Can you hear me?
No, we can't hear you so very well. It's disappearing.
No,
Just, I'll chat with you.
What is the noise? I don't know. It's mine. It's mine. Yeah. Oh.
Can you chat back, please? Dorota, can you chat back?
Normally, I don't have problem with this. Can you hear?
Okay, so now anger means it is a fire emotion because anger is very fast. We say something that we later regret or we react to impulsively. So basically, I have two things because I'm also an expert in emotional intelligence. I certify in neuro-linguistic programming, all levels. Level 1, level 2, level 3, NLP master practitioner, master coach, and also trainer and master trainer. And in emotional intelligence, I also certify in all levels, foundation, practitioner, and trainer. So in emotional intelligence, we suggest that anger needs to be released. So we learn how to literally do physical anger release. Ha! 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 And we do different techniques and different exercises that allow you to physically give an expression. Because if you do it correctly and we will help you, then you feel so good afterwards. You feel so good. And then we will use a neuro-linguistic programming technique to super imprint it and to create a resourceful you, rich of calmness, composedness, ability to go into a state of peace. And then we bring that we hook that to the trigger so that you will literally program yourself for a new response. With anger, if it's a very deep anger, it typically takes little longer. This one is, I have not been able yet to do it in one session. Typically, when somebody has deep anger issues, I need 5 sessions. And I will only cure it if they are ready to also creatively express anger. I myself have a strong fire emotion body, and I run every day. I go to the gym every day now in the lockdown. I run on the beach every day. I mean, run now, I cannot run anymore. I'm a little older now, but I just exhaust myself and I move very quick and very fast until my heartbeat is higher and until I feel, So one recipe to successfully address anger on like a undercurrent basis to energy to address the energy level would be to every day exhaust yourself and do something to be able to let the fire burn. But then at the same time, we need to create this new response. If you came to me for a one-on-one session, I would do with you a swish, which is a stimulus response interchange pattern. So once the anger has found a fire release, then we basically swish something into it so that again, in your thought, there will be a hook and that will be whatever you desire and describe as composed, calm, peaceful. So it needs to come from you. And it's not about being able to describe that, but that you hook it to the stimulus. It's like a stimulus response pattern. We have many of those in NLP, and they are very, very successful. Thank you for your input, Dorota. I hope even the audio is not so good. We have been able. So I'd like for you to think about something for just a little moment. This is also a very powerful NLP technique that we use in NLP coaching, and it is called compelling future. Could you please all speak with me and say compelling future?
Compelling future.
Compelling future.
Compelling future.
And the compelling future can only be compelling when we do the negative and we do the positive consequences. So let's say you are suffering from a chronic stress pattern, or you are suffering from anger, or you are suffering from conflicts in the family, or you are suffering from depression or anything related to depression. And let's say you would not do anything about it. How would it be in 1 year from now? If you keep on having the problem, if you keep on having that conflict within the family, Sushma, or that interaction that is dissatisfying to you, maybe even aggravating to you, or you keep on feeling low, or you keep on not doing anything about your fear or anxiety, how would that be a year from now?
Nothing changes. It would be the same.
Not even nothing changes, it gets worse.
It gets worse. It aggravates.
It gets worse, right, Mittal? Which one were you thinking about?
It aggravates a lot. So,
it aggravates it a lot. If
Yes.
you think about, what are you thinking about?
Anxiety.
Yes. And
So,
yours was again, what was your anxiety about?
So I've just moved from India to Dubai, and meeting up new people makes me very anxious, I think. And
Okay.
the entire thought of me staying alone as well as being away from the family is making me anxious.
So when are you going to move?
I've already moved to Dubai.
Okay. So how is it now?
It's better. Okay, it's much better, but I still want to have more control on that.
Yes. So we can do can I say something about your symptom? Because
yeah, sure.
Everybody, please, whatever we share here is confidential, right? Because we are here and we all want to learn. So this is actually not such a deep thing, Mital, because see, moving house they declare as the greatest stress on the body. Moving house and traveling is the greatest stress on the energy in the body because it's such a big reorientation. I mean, you don't know where anything is. I hate it. You don't know. I travel a lot, but I hate it. You don't know where everything is. You know, you did get disoriented. You don't know, and particularly with people. Now, to feel fear is not needed, so we can change it. But I just want you to feel maybe a little better about it, to know that it is not abnormal. It's very, very normal. Everybody who moves and everybody who travels experience some sort of discomfort. And many people experience greater discomfort, but you are very young and it's not an anxiety symptom. It's just, we call it situational. It's that particular situation. And when the situation is over, you will be fine. What is a deeper anxiety is, for example, every time you go in an elevator, or every time you have to speak in front of people, or every time you meet someone. I mean, there's amazing anxiety. So those are the anxieties we really need to cure. I mean, I'm not saying you can do something about it and make yourself feel better, Mital. You can. Maybe you can simply create an imagination and a self-talk where you talk yourself into everything is fine, this too shall pass, and you see yourself with new friends, and you see yourself, you know, in a month from now or 2 months from now already being much more settled. So you just step into the future Mital who is already settled, and have that experience there, rather than, okay, no friends are there. Well, no friends are there because you just arrived. You know, making friends takes a little time. So what you can do is just see Mital in 2 months or 3 months, you know, having friends and being much more settled and feeling well relocated, and then speak to yourself in that way. Look, already now it's a little easier, isn't it? Yeah. And so now the compelling future, we make what we don't want stronger, because see, if you become, who wants to become a coach? I know Payal is already taking life coach sessions. Who else would like to become a coach? Mital, Sushma, Swapna, Kayal?
Yes, Dr. Doris.
Mital, okay. Swapna?
Yes.
Okay. Meda?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can I see your picture just for 1 second, please?
Sure, ma'am.
Okay. I saw you before. Yes. So you are interested in becoming a coach, yes?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
if you want to help someone, and they will come to you, I promise. What comes to us a lot is unwanted behaviors up to addiction, because normal therapies and counseling are not finding solution powerful enough, instantly enough, and practical enough. So then they will come to you because you know NLP. So now, if somebody suffers from an addiction, let's say an alcoholic, or let's say somebody smokes since 40 years and they finish their body. Let's say they even have to get a leg amputated, the lung looks horrible, and they are literally addicted to these cigarettes. So now, if you only draw with them a positive future, it won't work. You have to also draw with them a negative future. You have to literally say, okay, if you don't do anything about your smoking, and you will do this for another 5 years, where will you be? And they'll flat out tell you, I'll be dead. And they cry. Because see, they are not thinking about it. Many times, see, addiction is immediate gratification, or either food, or all of the addictions are little hard ones to kick. That's why we need NLP to kick them successfully, because it's in the olfactory and in the gustatory. It's our taste sense, immediate gratification, and it has to do with our olfactory smell sense. So most addictions, food, smoking, alcohol, I mean, name it, eating too much sugar, eating too much fatty and all of that, is because of it's hooked into the gustatory taste senses in your mouth, or into the smell effect in your nostrils. So the person has to be compelled away from the negative future. It's good if they start crying. If you help them to see, look, if you drink alcohol another few months, your liver will be shut. You have to tell the person, you have to help them to be able to be shocked by this reality, because nobody who is really severely addicted and is in this craving cycle is just going to draw a positive future and then they will live their positive future. Now they need to do both. We need to draw the negative on the left side, the negative, very strong, and then we go to the positive and draw the positive line, also very, very strong. And then you as a coach will say, look, I was just spending this one you would do for 20 minutes. So you let the client describe all the consequences negatively, and then you let the client describe all the consequences if they do something about it, and if they change their behavior, if they take on a new discipline, if they work on themselves and do something that's uncomfortable. Because guess what? Any addiction, when you change it, you have to do something that's uncomfortable, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So with this compelling future, you basically help someone a lot. And I'd like for you to actually feel it yourself right now. The stress that you have, the anxiety, the conflicts in the family, or any of those symptoms that we've looked at, if you don't do anything about it, it'll sabotage the precious hours and days and weeks and years of your life. And you are a human. You can think and you can change. So draw your positive future and know that you can do something about it. And this I can promise for sure. Any of the limiting beliefs or limiting patterns that you carry, and we all do, will be solved in the 5-day practitioner training. So the 5-day NLP practitioner training is not only for you, but it is really for you to stop self-sabotage, to stop, sorry, it's not the right. Stop suffering, stop wasting time and effort, and stop sabotaging relationships. You will learn how to communicate differently and how to create greater satisfaction, greater contentment, have more peace and inner silence. You will learn the happiness booster, which is a very powerful method to increase your joy. Can we not all have more happiness and joy? Well, guess what? You got to program yourself so that you can feel more happiness and joy. And improved communication and relationship, wealth on all levels, and health on all levels. So let me see whether there was any. So see, actually, Payal, I have at least 50% people come to my NLP courses who come from coaching. Many IFC coaches or many coaches who come from life coaching. They come to NLP because they want to learn the techniques that are cut to the chase, that are immediate, and that give a change within 75 minutes. 60 minutes or 75 minutes, not longer. You can do any of these amazing intervention techniques. In level 3, you will learn timeline re-imprinting. And one of the things that NLP offers you is linguistic elegance, because we have to learn how to put things in the past and how to bring resources into the now. See, remember the story with Karen. What did Tanya do with Karen? What did you think was your difficulty? First, she didn't take the word depression, and then she put it in the past. And then she said, maybe what you thought was your emotional difficulties actually just a signal for you to do something differently. And I tell you, a light bulb went on in my client Karen, and she was just like, wow, she had an insight. She had a very deep aha experience, to the degree that she said, aha, oh, that bang. And she found a solution for herself. But if you ask about the problem in the present, you can damage people. You actually re-traumatize them. So neuro-linguistic programming is there to help you to make a difference. So this, hold on, I just put the 2 slides I want to show you together. So let me share again the screen to give you some important information. So basically, oops, this slide is stuck. I need to go all the way, double click. So this course, NLP Coaching Level 1, Level 2, and Level 3 make you a successful NLP Master Coach. And part 1 begins on the 18th and 19th of June, which is only 16 days away, 2 weeks away. And you can choose to only join us for the first 2 days, and you already get lots of insights and lots of ahas. And you can choose to join us for part 1 of level 1 and part 2. And those 5 days are called NLP Practitioner Certification. And I certify you through 2 of the international certifications. So it's not just East, it's not a local organization. I'm directly linked with the institutes where neuro-linguistic programming was created, and where I have a logo that is my own logo, that is a truthful logo. See, many schools just cut and paste logos, or, you know, I guess do things what they feel is they have to do to survive. Through me, you get the truthful international certification, because I'm doing it since 35 years. And in 87, is when I started in Seattle. And since ever then, I'm teaching nothing but neuro-linguistic programming and emotional intelligence. And you'll actually get a nice mix of neuro-linguistic programming and emotional intelligence.